and welcome back to part 2 of my handbag collection video. Now if you haven't already seen part 1, then I'm going to put a link in the info bar below this video, and I would recommend checking that out before watching this video because I give a bit more of an intro. So to continue my handbag collection, this video is going to be my smaller or evening bags. So I'm going to start with the daytime bags, and the first one is one that you guys might recognise because I only bought it fairly recently back in October. It's my Rebecca Minkoff Hudson Mini Moto bag, and this is in a gorgeous kind of burgundy wine colour. I love the fact that not only does it have different kind of layers to the design of the bag, but it also has different textures to it as well. I love Rebecca Minkoff bags because I think not only are they affordable in terms of designer bags, but they're also very, very well made. A lot of designer bags can be expensive and not that impressively made in comparison to cheaper ones. So Rebecca Minkoff is one of my favourite brands. As you can see with this bag, it has the main flap on the front, which is actually secured by her signature clasp. This is the only annoying bit about this bag, is that this is quite hard to undo and you have to undo it to get into the bag. So that is my Hudson Mini Moto and I love it. I know quite a lot of the UK bloggers have actually bought this style of bag now, and I can definitely see why. When I got mine back in October, I was like, oh, I love it so much. I do have another Rebecca Minkoff bag, which is her more classic style. This is the Mini Mac, and I have it in chocolate brown with rose gold hardware, and I actually get a lot of comments about this bag because apparently the rose gold hardware is very, very hard to find in Rebecca Minkoff bags. I actually bought this on sale whilst I was in New York for the equivalent, I think it was about £80. So it was, I think, half price. So this is what it looks like with the strap. As you guys can see, it's quite plain. This pocket in the front I don't use at all, pretty much, because it's a pain to get into with this clasp again. This is a little different to the normal ones. The normal Rebecca Minkoffs in this style actually have a zip under here, and they also have the little tassels, like on this zip they have like another set there. This bag doesn't have that, but it has it on here. Inside, I love Rebecca Minkoff bags for the design inside as well, as you can see here, or maybe you can't see that clearly. Even though it's small, it's actually really good, and it actually holds a decent amount of stuff and you can keep it organised. So I love this bag. It's got a lot of use. The hardware is quite distressed now, but I think that looks nice. I think this colour of bag especially looks really nice when it's distressed, and yeah, this is definitely one I'll continue to use a lot as well. Keeping on the theme of messenger bags, this bag is from Proenza Schooler, which is actually a very, very popular brand now. I bought this a few years ago when it was on sale again in Liberties. Liberties have the best bag sales in my opinion. I think this was reduced from £1,800 to, I believe it was 230, something like that. It was a huge reduction anyway, and it is beautiful. It has a little bit of gold hardware here. It's not the classic Proenza Schooler design, but I think it is a very classic messenger kind of satchel bag. What I love about this as well, the inside is just amazing. I think this is actually called one of their book bags, and when I show you the design of it inside, you'll see why. It has lots of different pockets in here, including one down the back there. It's like a secret pocket. Has the main pocket there, which has an interior pocket again, and then in the next pocket along, it actually has this large zip section there, and then it has another pocket which is the perfect size for a kind of average size paperback book, and then it has a poppered, if I can unpopper it, a poppered front section there. So it's really, really useful for carrying around. I absolutely love this bag, and I really think it's probably one of the ones that I will use for the longest time because I think it's very classic. The final messenger style bag I have is this one, which is from Sam Edelman, and this has actually had a bit of a hard life. My mum actually gave this to me. She bought it whilst we were in New York last winter, and she gave it to me in summer because she hadn't used it barely at all. However, it is one of the hardest bags to keep clean. I wore this pretty much all of last summer. Somebody spilt something down it when I was in the street, which, you know when you get really angry but you can't like realistically have a go at somebody like for getting on something on your bag, but yeah, I was not very happy when somebody spilled something down me. So yes, that's what happened on the front, but then also on the back, as you can see, it's got quite a lot of discoloration from rubbing against my jeans. This is just something that happens if you have a light coloured leather, I'm afraid, so that could not be avoided. Anyway, onto the bag. It has this top handle, which, if I'm honest, I never use. I tend to use the long strap. The long strap has these studs on the top, which I think look really cool, but when it tends to kind of flip over quite a lot and then stab you in the shoulder, which is not that cool. So that is my Sam Edelman bag. I really love this bag because I actually don't have anything else similar to it either, because I don't tend to go for this colour leather, like I said before, because it's not actually very practical, but I do really like it, and it was very nice of my mum to give it to me. I did just remember, this probably counts as a messenger bag as well. I also have this teeny tiny very rustic leather kind of mini satchel bag. It's absolutely tiny, and I got this on a market when I was on holiday in Mallorca. I think it must have been 2 years ago, and I really like this because it's got little stars and everything, and then it's a tiny pouch. I don't tend to use this very much because it is tiny, so I tend to use it when I'm on holiday in the summer, but I do really like this. I think it's very cute, and it was I think probably like 20 euros or something like that. I like that a lot. And then the last two day bags I have to show you guys are both from Mulberry, and they are both, gosh, nearly 7 years old, I think. The first one I got as a gift from Mike. The first ever Christmas we were going out, he bought me this, and I nearly fell off my chair. I was so excited. I love this bag. I think it's so cute. It's tan leather, which is very beautiful. As you can see, it has been used quite a bit because it is a little bit dirty, and it has this chain handle. I love this bag. It's actually missing a stud at the moment. I need to send it back to Mulberry, and they'll put a new stud in for you. They're quite good with their customer care, actually. But yeah, as you can see, it is the old, very durable leather. It has a plain inside. Literally, take the stuffing out. The whole bag is it's just a giant pouch, but it's very cute. And I think this, again, will be a bag that I'll keep forever, and it will never really go too much out of style. Unlike the next one, which, to be honest, I haven't used in a very long time. I did think about selling it, actually, but then I changed my mind because I thought one day this will probably come back into fashion, because when I had this, I loved it. It was about 7 or 8 years ago, and it is this one from Mulberry. It does look very equestrian, and it is a really pretty design, but if I'm honest, I think it's quite early 2000s/1990s, and at the moment I wouldn't wear it, but I'm hoping it will come back into fashion. Again, it's the beautiful Darwin leather, and it is just beautifully made. Like, the detail on the front here is so nice. Every time I get it out, it makes me smile because I absolutely adored it when I got this bag. It was actually a gift it's a Christmas present from my parents, and as you can see, it's quite dirty. I've used it quite a lot. And hopefully one day I will use it a lot again, but at the moment it's not something that I really use very much. Moving on to evening bags and clutches. Now, I actually don't have very many evening bags because a year and a half ago I was the luckiest girl in the world, and Mike actually bought me a Chanel bag. It's the only bag I've ever had that has come in a fancy box like this, and I wanted to show the box to you guys because before I got this I was always quite curious as to how the quilted Chanel bags came packaged, so I'm going to show you. It comes in this beautiful Chanel box, and it feels so nice. And then it has the tissue paper here. I've kept all this exactly as it was when I first opened it. Obviously it's a little worn because I take it out quite a lot to use it. And then I kept all the ribbon there as well, along with the camellia flower. And then it comes in a dust bag, which looks like this. When you open it up, it has got a sketch of Coco Chanel, which is drawn by Karl Lagerfeld. This, from the research I've done online, I think this must be either a limited edition or it was only around for a certain amount of time, because not all of them have this particular dust bag. The bag itself is not limited edition. It is the classic Chanel in, I think it's a medium/large style. It is the kind of original size, like the normal, I say normal, like the most common size, I guess. There are two different types, for those of you that don't know about Chanel bags. There are two different types within the kind of classic quilted ones. There are the original 2.55 reissues, which were the original designs from 1955, and then there are these ones which were redesigned by Karl Lagerfeld, which were the only ones available until a few years ago when they reissued the original ones. So it is kind of confusing, but this is the bag that most people now will know as the classic Chanel bag, even though it wasn't the first design. I've done a what's in my bag with this bag, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but as you can see, it has the double flaps, it has the burgundy inside with the Chanel logo, and then it has lots of different pockets in there too. If you want to see what's in my bag, I will link it in the info bar below. You can change the straps, of course. You can have it long, you can do it at the front or at the back, whichever way you want to, or you can do half and half and carry it over your shoulder, and then it does have the little pocket in the back as well. So that is my Chanel bag, and generally this bag is why I don't have a lot of evening or clutch bags, because once you've got this bag, I feel like it goes with everything, and it's also like the nicest bag in the whole world. So I feel like any other bag I get won't be as nice as this one. So it makes me kind of hesitant when I'm buying evening and clutch bags, and also you don't use them as much. This bag is great because it can be used in the daytime and in the evening. I also, to mention quickly, I did get it in the caviar leather, which is, although it doesn't look as beautiful in my opinion as the smooth leather, it is very, very durable. I've used this as a day-to-day bag very, very frequently over the last year and a half, and it still looks brand new. There's no scuffs, there's no wear, there's no fading on the corners or anything, there's no scratches. Whereas if you get the lambskin, the smooth leather one, it will literally be scratched by a fingernail, so you have to be so careful with it. Whereas this you can take into like a busy shopping street, and you don't have to worry too much if someone like brushes past you that it's going to mark the bag. So that is my beautiful Chanel, thanks to my lovely husband who bought it for me, and yes, my favourite bag, obviously my favourite bag. Another lovely birthday gift from Mike, actually a few years before that, is this one from Chloe. And this is a tiny little bag, but it's so cute. It's obviously black with the nude bow on the front, and it also has this really intricate gold chain, which is quite unusual. I really like it. And you can't actually make this shorter. So the one thing I find with this bag, although I love the design, the actual length of the chain is slightly awkward. It kind of sits on your hip, as opposed to being kind of shoulder length or shorter. Although what I have found is that you can kind of loop it around so it looks a little something like this, and have it as a shorter design, although it's not obviously how it's meant to be held, but it means you can have it as like a little shoulder bag. And then I have a couple of other small bags, one that actually escaped the net in my pile here and isn't an evening bag but is teeny tiny, is this one by Marc Jacobs. This actually has a chain on it, but it is detachable. What this is essentially is kind of like a wallet on a chain. So it has a zip pocket in the front there, has a main pocket, and then it has a lot of card pockets too. So it's really, really useful to use, and I tend to use this when I go on holiday in the summer, or if it's kind of hot weather and you don't want to be lugging around a big bag. You can just have all of your essentials in there, and it's kind of like having a giant wallet to carry around with you. And you can take the straps off as well and have it as a clutch bag, so it's also perfect for when you're on holiday. And then I also have this little number, which is from Prada. I actually bought this whilst I was still at uni, and I got it from the Prada outlet in Florence. It must have been 4 years ago now. It is just a very simple, plain, patent purple clutch bag, and I don't use this that much anymore, again, because I've got my Chanel bag, but for a while this was like my favourite little clutch bag to take with me, because it's just a nice little pop of colour, and yeah, that is that. And it has the wristlet kind of strap on it as well. The newest addition to my clutch collection is this one, which is from ASOS. I had wanted the Charlotte Olympia Perspex clutch for such a long time, but they're so expensive. And I found this one on ASOS. It's not as nice, obviously, because it's a £30 alternative, but I just thought it was really fun and cute. And you can take out this little pouch they have in there, but in that case you can actually see everything in there. But depends what you're carrying around for a start, but also what look you're going for. So that is my little ASOS Perspex clutch. And last but not least, ironically, this is the first ever designer bag I ever had. And it looks a little something like this. I haven't used this in a long time because it's just not really my style at the moment, but I won't ever throw it away, I don't think, because it was really special to me. When I was 14, my mum went to the Prada outlet shop and found like the biggest amount of bargains ever. She bought a load of this kind of style with these handles of these bags for £40 each. And if any of you guys are into designer handbags or into Prada, you'll know that that is seriously, seriously cheap for Prada handbags. And it has this really beautiful leather kind of shoulder strap. It's very wide, And then it has a little cashmere pouch which unpoppers at the bottom. It's quite a 90s design, even though it was the 2000s, I guess, early 2000s / late 90s. But that is my little first ever designer handbag, and I loved it at the time. I thought it was the coolest thing in the whole world, and that I was the luckiest girl in the whole world. Okay, so now I've shown you all of my handbags, I'm going to show you a quick clip of how I store them all. I know a lot of people ask me about this. I used to store them in plastic crates under my bed when we were living in my old house because we did not have enough storage. I basically had one tiny wardrobe there, so we had to get quite creative with our storage solutions. And so my bags were all crammed under the bed in these plastic storage boxes. As soon as we moved house, we moved into a house that has actually, our bedroom is pretty big, and it also has a lot of built-in wardrobes, which don't necessarily look the prettiest, but they are so useful. And the first thing I did, the very first thing I unpacked, was my handbags, and therefore they are stored in the first door of my built-in wardrobes. I have a whole separate wardrobe for my handbags. It seems crazy, but I love them so much, and I really want to keep them stored nicely and really looked after so that they last. So as you can see, there are quite a few shelves within this cupboard, and I tend to keep them based on the type of bag they are. I store them all in their dust bags unless they didn't come with one, so they are free from kind of dust or anything that might get in there, and also just to keep them in the best condition possible. Also, if they are prone to being kind of misshapen by storage, I will stuff them so that they kind of keep their shape as best they can whilst they aren't being used. So as you can see, I like to give them a little bit of space, not to squash them together too much, because they were squashed. In my last house, they were a little bit squished under my bed. And yeah, that's how I store them. I keep the bigger ones at the top going down to the smaller ones at the bottom, and I keep my wallets in there as well. So that is it for my handbag collection video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you did, and I will see you next week when I will be back with another in my top 10 under £10 series. Bye guys! Today I'm going to be doing one of my most requested videos ever, and if I'm honest, I have kind of hesitated to do this video